Okay, so today you're going to do an egg dissection. You're going to watch the video of me doing it, and while I'm dissecting the egg, you are going to be completing your Eggsploring the Egg Lab with your partner. Remember, this is a video, so you can pause, rewind, fast forward at any point that you need to. So I am using a regular egg that I bought at the store, pair of tweezers, possibly some scissors, and then some toothpicks here when I do the pointing for you. So you and your partner are going to listen to the video and, like I said, complete it to the best of your ability, and then there are some questions at the end you're going to complete. So the first thing I want you to do is just observe this egg, and for the first question it asks you to examine the outside of the egg first with just the naked eye. So I want you to pause the video, look at the egg, hit pause right now, and discuss this with your partner. Okay, so do that now. Now the second part is what I'm going to do is we're going to look at the egg, and I'm going to put it on the lab table here, and we are going to, with the tweezers and the scissors, I'm going to look at the fat end, and I'm going to break open this part of the egg. So I'm going to do this very carefully so that I'm just cracking the shell. So you can see now I have a hole, so I'm going to carefully peel back the shell.
Mr. Gerlecki, could you please call 5404? Thank you.
And so now you can see, I want you right now for your first question, and the next question underneath here, it says, what is the opening at the fat end of the egg called? So right here, I just opened it up and exposed this. So go ahead with your partner and discuss what part of the egg is exposed at this point. And then write that down for your next question. Then you can see here that, so I broke open the shell, and now I have this like membrane here. That's the shell membrane. So now if I tip it upside down, you can see the contents of the egg are there, but it's protected because it's in between the shell and the shell membrane. So you don't want to puncture that, because if I were to do that, then it's going to have the contents of the egg spill out. So now, once you've identified what this part of the egg is that we have discussed in class, I'm now going to crack open the egg and look at the other parts of the egg, and hopefully I'm going to do this neatly. So I'm just going to kind of stick my fingers in there and separate the shell. And now we have the egg pieces. So I want to try to turn the yolk a little, so give me a second. There we go. So now I want you to look at this and locate the germinal disc on the yolk. So if you look, remember the germinal disc is the original cell. So right there, if you look, that white speck is the germinal disc. That's the part of the egg that, if fertile, will develop into the embryo. Now there are some questions that go along with looking at the germinal disc, so if you want to pause the video and answer those questions before we continue, you can do that now. So then as we look through, on the inside of the shell, it talks about feeling the shell and looking at what the rest of the contents. So when I pull the shell apart, I have this kind of slimy part that peels off. And I need you to identify with your partner what that's called. So we have the shell, and then we have like this kind of filmy part that's left over. And again, this is part of the egg, and this is the part that sticks to the embryo if we don't have very good humidity during the incubation process and the hatching process. So with your partner, identify what that's called. We already mentioned the name of it earlier in the video, so if you need to go back to identify that, go ahead and write your answers down with your lab partners. So then the rest of the time we're going to look at the actual pieces of the egg here. So obviously we have the shell, we have the part you just named with your partner, and we have the other pieces. So with your partners, you're going to have to identify these parts and also their functions further down underneath the questions of the lab. So, and also label them in the pictures that were given to you. So what I just want to do is go through them with you real quick. Obviously, we've already mentioned the germinal disc right here. This yellow part is the, yep, that's right, yolk. Then you have all this over here. You can see this really watery part that kind of spills out. That's the egg white. But specifically, it's the albumin. And remember, the albumin is what provides the embryo with water. And you can see it's very more watery than any other part of the egg. Then you have this kind of cushiony part. I want you to talk to your partner about what you think that part is going to be called. Hold on one second. So this is the, while you talk to your partner, this is the part that cushions the baby and the embryo in the development. So when a baby forms, remember, it's eating the yolk, and then this is the part that keeps it nice and cushioned inside of the egg. And I want you and your partners to identify that part on your own. So now that's basically the parts of the egg. This part here, we haven't talked about it, but it's the chalaza, and basically it's the piece that it comes off of both ends of the yolk, and it keeps the yolk in the center of the egg. And it's kind of like a support system, like two beams. So you think about it like this. It's a beam going from the two sides that keeps the egg, the yolk in the middle so that it's not breaking. So now we've gone over the pieces. We've talked about the albumin. We've talked about this part, which you're going to name with your partners. Now this, you cannot see the allantois because there's no embryo at this point. So if there were an embryo here, you'd be able to see that. And I believe you and your partner are going to have to discuss what would happen to this germinal disc if this were a fertile egg. Now if you look closely at the germinal disc, you could see that this germinal disc is not fertile, and there's reasons why. You should know those 3 reasons as to why it is not a fertile egg, and if it were fertile, what that would look like. So again, discuss that with your partner. I want you to look at the rest of this, rewatch the video, go back and, to other parts, and you're going to answer the rest of the lab questions with your partner. And this is homework if it is not done, so make sure you get it in. This is going to be stuff that is covered on your test Friday, so this is going to be very good practice. And have a good day. I hope you enjoyed the video.